the delay is real in the sense na I didn't really have the things that I was supposed to have in the order or the timeline that is most common to all. But the question is that even bad at all to not have it when you are supposed to have it? Who determines ba kasi the supposed to have it? Is it and that's really one question that we need to answer. When we feel like we're falling behind, there's a fear in there na we can't slow down. But why? There is so much about life that we are expected to know, and so little of it was actually ever taught to us. Life loading is a space to fill in those gaps. The practical things, the emotional things, the things that make living a little less like guesswork. I'm Rica. Welcome to Life Loading, and I am so glad that you are here.
Okay, so guys.
Yes, we have a podcast. And this is, I don't know, if you, I'm not assuming that every one of you who's like listening right now or like watching this would have seen my podcast with my husband a few years back. So we started right around the pandemic. So it's called Anything Goes with the Bonnies. And now we have both decided that when it comes to podcast only part ways muna kami. Magkaiba muna kami ng podcast. But of course, because he's my husband, you're going to see him pa rin on this podcast. And it does feel like my house here. I have a lot of elements here if you guys are seeing this on screen, you'll notice that there are a lot of elements that would be coming from my home. Because this is like my living room. That's how I want you guys to treat it. I've had several several talks with other people about life stuff. So mga, heartaches, headaches. And they always happened in the living room or in the dining room of my home. And that's kind of what I want to happen here. That we get to talk that intimately around in this space. So treat it as that. But to go back to something that's a little bit more familiar to me, we're going to do what you are into. This is something that comes from Anything Goes with the Bonnies, that podcast. Lagi namin yan ginagawa. Parang the start of the show, we talk about something that is yung parang that you're into for the moment. So I want you guys to do the same as I share what I am into for the moment, for the season, for the time being. Kayo din, what are you into? Ano yung mga bagay na parang in this season of life, parang, okay, I'm really into car racing, or I'm really into running. It could also be an object, which is for me going to be the case because I'm gonna show you. Show and tell nga to kasi dinala ko. So I'm into fountain pens. Getting into it pa lang, I am very, very scared to actually get into it because it's such an expensive hobby. But, okay, short story, no? 2024, somebody gave me this gift. And I knew it was a fountain pen. I didn't know which kind. Pero sabi ko, you know what, lalagyan ko pa ng ink and all ganyan. Sabi ko, tsaka ko na yan bubuksan pag may time ako. So yung tsaka ko na bubuksan, umabot ng 2 taon. 2026 na. Tsaka ko lang siya nabuksan. And as I was opening it, I was like, nice. Wow, really nice box. Packaging, ganon. So pag open ko, oh wow, meron pa Namiki. It says Namiki. So when I opened it, my first thought was, rooster ba to? Sabi ko, okay. So dahil ba Year of the Rooster ako? it didn't make sense to me. But I thought it was like a nice pen. It felt heavy. It felt different. But nothing more than that. I don't know much about fountain pens. Then it just dawned on me. I was like, i-chat GPT ko kaya to, no? Ano ba to? So, type ako, Namiki, ganyan. And then I saw, and then I uploaded photos of it also. Then apparently, when you go online, search, this is actually a luxury pen. So the nib of this is like equivalent ba to 14K? Okay, so I'll show you the nib, guys. So if you can have an access to the video, the nib is this one. That one is gold. So it's 14K 585, meaning 58.5% of it is gold. I have a pen that has gold, real gold in it. And it actually costs a lot. So like it can go from like 30,000 pesos to 80,000 pesos. Especially now na phase out na siya. I think wala nang gumagawa nito. So it could even go higher as the years go by. So abangan nyo, pag ibibenta ko na to in the millions. No, but that's just what am I into? I was just really so shocked to have a Namiki. And this is not a rooster, by the way. It's a Chinese phoenix. Okay? Paka-jologs ko no? Sabi ko, rooster, Chinese phoenix pala yan, yung lacquer na yan. Okay? So it's a Chinese phoenix. And yeah, so that's what am I into in this season. So go share what is yours. And I think it's a very nice opener also for the very first the very first episode of this podcast. Because a phoenix is actually it could be a very, very positive symbol. And when I was searching it up, a phoenix could actually be a symbol of rebirth. And that's kind of how it is in my life. I'm already 45, and ever since I entered my 40s, it felt like, you know how I thought before kasi it was like, if you're in your 40s, wala na, ano ka na, matanda ka. Di ba ganun tayo pag bata tayo? Parang feeling natin, 40, tanda na to, ganyan. Then I get to my 40s and I'm like, wow, it doesn't feel old and it feels like you're reborn in a lot of ways. And what happens to be a part of that rebirth as well as this podcast. And today we have a very special topic. And I want everyone to be able to, if you're here and you got caught by the title, you're in for a very good episode because we're going to talk about the delays of our life or the question that many of us are asking, am I falling behind? Yan ang ating topic. What if the things you think you're late for are actually arriving at the right time? In this episode, we talk about the fear of falling behind, from late milestones, stepping away from opportunities, slowing down, questioning the timelines that we place ourselves in or that we were placed and then wala naman talaga tayong choice na parang, okay, ba't ako nasa ganitong timeline and not like everybody else? So this episode is a reminder of how slow progress doesn't mean failure at all, but maybe it's just a different kind or way of growing. All right. Okay, so simulan natin yung topic na yan sa tinatanong ko sa sarili ko na, late na ba ako sa podcast era? Parang kahit yung aso ng kapitbahay ko may podcast na, di ba? Pero ba't ako wala pa? Ganon. And the answer is, bitinin natin kung ano yung answer ko talaga. Pero marami tayong ganyan sa buhay, di ba? Tinatanong natin na late na ba ako sa ganito, late na ba ako sa ganyan. And if you actually have the time to indulge me sa aking mga stories, I'm the perfect example talaga. I'm not perfect, but just a perfect example of just milestones and timelines that are so odd. I don't have the regular kind of life that everybody goes through. So, just take a brief pasada of like how my life kind of like panned out, no? I was a very regular kind of child until I hit 12 because this is when I started being in show business. So parang, like doors just started opening up and I became an artista at 12. And that kind of like started my career. So no one really thinks of starting a career at 12. I mean, I was still playing in the kalsada back then. Nakikipagpatintero pa ako, nagba-volleyball pa ako, sinushoot ko dun sa gate ng kapitbahay ko kasi crush ko yung kapitbahay ko. Yun pa yung leveling ko. And then all of a sudden, naging, wow, may career na ako. And because the mantra back then was like, strike while the iron is hot. Not everyone gets an open door like that. My focus became my career. And so I was very much a child back then. I mean, if you think about yourself at 12, what do you know, right? But I was already thinking of a career. It wasn't something that I was prepared for. I also didn't really think about it when it was happening, but I was already working. I was a working girl and I had a career. And because of that, so if you think about it, is that a delay or what? It's not a delay. It's too much advancement naman. Parang sumobrang aga mo naman for something that happens to you at around what? 18, 19, 20, di ba? But then, that being advanced in that area has delayed me in a lot of normal things in life. Like I started college when I was already 25. So parang lahat parang tapos na by then. Ako, kung galing kayo sa Ateneo, makaka-relate kayo yung mga freshies, 'di ba? Yung ORSEM. So parang feeling ko tumatakbo-takbo sila with the energy of teenagerhood. Okay, midlife din. Hindi naman midlife, pero 25, tumatakbo ako with them. Sabi ko, oh, wow, ating-ate na yung feeling ko dito. But, that's when that's the truth of it. Like, I had to begin college when I was already very much with a complete prefrontal cortex, 25. And then, motherhood was something that I've been really dreaming about ever since I was a kid. I always thought that at 18 I'll be married and I'll be starting to have kids, ganyan. But then, my first child came when I was 32. So is that delayed? Is that falling behind? Is that, just right? And what is delayed even in this day and age when people are choosing to delay a lot of things in life, like yung pagkakaroon ng pamilya, di ba? So that's kind of my background. So if you think about it, I didn't really have the normal timeline as other people would have it. And so I skipped a lot of things in life and took up some things much later on than most. So I also did my very first full marathon. That's actually the inspiration for this, by the way. Nagmumuni-muni kasi ako after nung marathon ko. Sabi ko, they always say 42 on 42. Parang ganyan. Or for 42. That means 42 kilometers when you hit 42 years of age. Others naman do it much younger. Parang, I want to be able to complete a marathon on my 30th birthday. Pero nag-first full marathon kasi ako, 45 na ako. So sabi ko, paano ko ba ito gagawin? 45 for 42. Parang it didn't make sense, right? You know what I did? If you guys have seen it on my social media, what I did was 45 for 45, which was the day before my full marathon, I did 3 kilometers. And the next day, during my full marathon, I made sure to finish all 42. And so when you add that together, that's my age, right? So every time you think that you're being delayed in life, just think about what I did. You don't have to hit 42 when you are 42. You can actually hit 45 when you are 45. I mean, you can change up the timelines. Who says ba na it has to be only one way? So that's really the heart of this episode. But yeah, I mean, delays are a part of life, and some people say na delays actually are blessings in disguise. Kasi like ako, for myself, no, I feel like hindi naman siya talaga, the delay is real in the sense na I didn't really have the things that I was supposed to have in the order or the timeline that is most common to all. But the question is that even bad at all to not have it when you are supposed to have it? Who determines ba kasi the supposed to have it? Is it, and that's really one question that we need to answer. When we feel like we're falling behind, there's a fear in there na we can't slow down. But why? Yun yung tanong na parang, bakit ba tayo natatakot na mag-fall behind? Kasi kung kunwari masibihin mo, late na ako naging nanay, and so, or the fear of like, late na ako nag-marathon, and so, late ka, di ba? But, and this is something that we also hear all the time, no, na, better late than never, right? I mean, like, I'm very happy that even if I didn't get to do things much earlier in life, that I still got to do them anyway. The things that I really wanted to do anyway. And most of the time, they turn out to be for the better. Kasi, parang ang description ko nga sa kanya, it's like pros and cons. Being early in a lot of things gives you a lot of pros, but it also gives you a lot of cons. So like, let's say, take the perspective of an athlete. You go early in life, and that's most of the athletes. Ganyan ang buhay nila. Maaga pa lang, they already take on a lot of things and they hit their peak. But then after a certain age, it all kind of like goes down, right? So it's kind of like the con na you can't really keep up that kind of intensity for like all your life. So that's kind of like a pro and con for them because they have it early. But then they also have like a caveat to it, right? Of having things too early in life. The same with me, na I'm very, very grateful that today I'm able to enjoy the kind of name and connections and network that I have because I've been building it ever since I was 12. So is that a pro? Yes. But are there cons? Yes. I mean, a part of it, hindi rin talaga ako nagkaroon ng childhood. Isa yun sa mga na-skip ko sa buhay ko, yung childhood, na hindi ako normal 12-year-old. Hindi ako nagkaroon ng normal teenage life like everybody else because as, everyone was like busy being an adolescent, or young adult, I was busy being a career woman already, diba? So that does something to you, that does something to your brain. But from both ends of the spectrum, whether you are too early or you are late, both will have its own pros and its own cons. The same thing with motherhood. I feel like if I had them, it was out of the earnestness of my heart, I really wanted to be a mom so young in life, so early in life. But I'm so glad now na pagkatapos ng dalawa kong anak, no, na nagkaroon na, I'm raising 2 sons right now, I'm really, really glad that the timeline God gave me was not the original timeline that I wanted. Because I would have been such ill-equipped mom at 18. I would have been shocked with how hard it was. And I really didn't know what I was asking for when I was 18. So in hindsight, I'm very happy that they came much later in life. They also came at a time when I could afford the pay cut. I think that's my difference with, and I don't mean this as like a boast or anything, but ganun lang talaga kasi yung nangyari sa buhay ko na parang I'm grateful na much earlier than everybody else. I got to build my name. I got to build my bank account. I got to build my career, my network. That when the time for family came, I was actually able to say that I will prioritize them. That's a very big part of like why I stopped vlogging. I stopped podcasting also, or we, kami ng asawa ko. Because, as much as career is important and kailangan we need bread, all of us need to earn a living. There are also much more valuable things in life that you don't want to miss on. Yun at least yung paniniwala namin. And that was a very big reason behind why we stopped making podcast episodes and me vlogging as well, because we wanted to focus on the kids. The kids are growing. They are already, I have a 12-year-old and I have a 6, and the 12-year-old is already becoming more and more independent, more and more himself than he is a part of our, more like mom and dad, ganyan. So, we knew that we had, limited days with this guy. Parang may deadline na to kung kailan parang ang magiging priority na niya is his life outside of the family than us. So, we wanted to prio that. And so, that's the reason why delayed ang podcast. Kaya, eto, ngayon pa lang tayo ulit nakakapagsimula. But, back to what I was saying earlier. And I'm pretty sure that as I was talking, marami na kayong naiisip dyan na kayo ba na, oo nga, no, parang ano nga ba yung time? Kasi yun yung gusto kong mangyari sa atin. Let's think about the timeline of our life. And however normal or abnormal it is for you. Were there times in it that you felt like, I feel behind. Like I feel behind in my class. I feel behind at work. I feel behind in my family. I feel like I'm the last one always. Ganyan. So, but kung may ganun kang issues, ano ba yon, di ba? Saan ba nanggagaling yon? And gusto ko rin i-explore yon na this world is actually very unforgiving of turtles. They don't like turtles. They like cheetahs. They like everything fast and quick. I think we need to be very aware that the world rewards something that is instant and fast everything. Because saan ba nanggagaling yun? Nung nag-notes nga kayo, di ba? Oh, I used my Namiki. Habang nag-notes ako for this podcast, sabi ko, gamitin ko nga yung Namiki ko. So, nung nag-notes ako dito, I'll read something to you guys na mga parang mga thoughts ko. Because, you have very different thoughts when you articulate, and then there are thoughts that you also just come up with when you're writing on paper. So I said, unpacking the universal fear of delay or falling behind. Fear. Okay. So number 1, saan ba ito nanggagaling? Nanggagaling din to sa way ng mundo. Nagsa-start to siguro para sa ating lahat na mapapansin natin to sa eskwelahan. Kasi laging may ranking, 'di ba? Parang bata ka pa lang, kumbaga nag-groom ka na ng mundo to think that fast is right? And slow is wrong. So nag-determine siya sa'yo ng rightness, wrongness, ng speed, 'di ba? But the question is, how right is that thinking? Is that even a real thing? Is it really wrong to be slow in the age of ano nga ba ngayon, yung mga slow living, ganyan, slow bar, 'di ba? Parang ngayon nga meron ng may movement na of like everything is going back to the slowness of things, right? Now we really need to question ourselves. Is having a faster pace really important when you're a runner? Bakit ang goal lagi ay to be faster and faster in pace? I mean, like, I want to be faster for reasons, right? I mean, like, I'll share that another time. But it doesn't mean that being fast is the only right way of being, 'di ba? Diyan nagsisimula yan sa school. Ano pa yung nilagay ko dito? So, see if may mga parang magswak sa inyo, di ba? I said, For some parents, well, mine, they never were. I'm really grateful that my parents didn't really have that kind of ranking wherein, ito, ang bilis sa'yo. Ang bilis tong anak ko na to eh. Ito, bagal. Wala, hindi sila nagsalita ng ganyan. But I do recognize that some families might actually express this kind of ranking in their homes, right? And so you grow up thinking that ang bilis kasi, and you know what? My second born is like that. We don't even count grades. We don't have that. We don't express appreciation or give praise for speed or what have you, no? And yet, parang human nature yata talaga na pag merong mas mabilis sa'yo, feeling mo gusto mo siyang unahan. And that's what I put in here na parang man's nature is not to have enough but to always do more. Parang kahit wala ka sigurong system na nagsusupport ng idea na ito, I think that man is just really prideful. And pride is that. Pride is not saying that I'm good. Pride is actually saying I need to be better than the person who's beside me. And I've felt that sometimes, many times, whether it be because of the world that I am in, or the kind of environment that I grew up in, or just simply human nature na parang nahihiya ako kung hindi ako yung number one. And so, I think that's what we need to check in ourselves na if mabagal ako, kaya ko bang sabihin na, di mabagal ako. So what? Diba? Yun yung magandang itanong sa mga sarili natin na ba't di natin maamin kung hindi tayo yung fastest in the room. And I also have to ask that to myself na when that wanting to be more and to be better than the person beside me kicks in, I always have to take a step back and regulate and say, bakit ba? Bakit ba kailangan ikaw yung una? Yung worth mo ba is determined by how fast or how much better you are than that other person. Diba? So, yan. Mga magandang itanong sa sarili natin yan. And so, pa mga nilagay kong notes dito. I also, I post a question here in my journal also. Why do we have to live according to other people's standards and not, just make our own, right? I mean, to begin with, we are very different from one another. I think an antidote to because like I said, no, I think it's human nature. I think hindi natin maaalis sa mga sarili natin na magkikick in talaga yan na gusto naman talaga nating maging mas magaling at mas mabilis at mas everything than everyone else in the room, right? Because it's such an addicting feeling to be the best in the room, to actually be revered that way. But it's also very tiring. I think that's what I realized after 45 years of life, na when you constantly compete for the first place, it's an addicting feeling to always hit it, but also very tiring because then when are you ever at rest? And I am a believer that human beings are designed to both work and rest. We can't be, everything in our biology, our physiology tells us that we cannot keep on going and going and going and not stop and rest. Kahit sa mga athletes, a very big part of their success has a lot to do with their ability to recover, their ability to rest and to take a step back from the intense activity. And yet here we are in our normal lives as students, as career people, in the workplace, always looking at our kapitbahays and saying, am I better than them? Am I number one? Diba? Parang that's such a tiring life to live. And that's what I realized when I entered my 40s. Sabi ko, I'm going to stop playing this game na I need to be better than everybody else. Instead, I just want to be me. I just want to be me. And I think that really comes with age, just knowing who you are. Um, and that's why I said this is a great antidote for that kind of like innate nature in us to just always want to be better than others. Na malaman mong you are special as everybody or everyone around you is also special. We all have our own stories. Nilagay ko nga yun dito sa notes ko. Sabi ko, is delay even a thing when you actually have your own narrative? 'Di ba? Kung may sarili kang kwento, syempre, yung sarili mong kwento may sariling timeline. Ngayon, hindi na siya compared sa timeline ng iba. So now, is the delay even a real delay? Or is it just a different kind of timeline? And this kind of like brings me back to one of my most favorite parang ano bang tawag dito? Quote ever. That was this was actually by a pastor that we met and we got to hang out with many years ago, kami ng asawa ko. He was talking about marriage, but it actually applies to much of life. Na being different doesn't mean you're wrong. And we often assign kasi the wrongness or the rightness of a thing according to how similar you are with everybody else. But actually, it shouldn't be the case. I mean, when you're different, you're just different. You're not necessarily wrong. I mean, there are wrong things. We know that. But being different doesn't automatically mean that you're wrong. And so, when you're delayed according to the normal timelines of life, I don't think that's necessarily wrong, as it is just different. And different doesn't mean wrong. So, I don't know if you caught that, but that's kind of like where I'm going. And to close this episode properly, I want to share with you guys another idea aside from like having your, appreciating your own narrative. So that's one antidote. Parang appreciate nyo kung anong kwento ng buhay nyo. Kasi that's what happened to me. Na parang may mga questions din ako na why did I skip this? Why did I skip that? Why was I delayed in this? Why couldn't I have done this sooner and all? But after much reflection, I'm very, very happy anyway with how my life turned out. I'm so grateful for what I have today. It may not have been ideal in some parts of my life, but they always kind of like found a way to work with each other and give me the great kind of life that I have right now. I'm not saying it's perfect because some could have been better, but I just really am grateful for the kind of story that I own right now. So that's one. Own your story. Appreciate other people's story also. I think there's also that habit in us na parang my story is amazing, right? Parang, and then you're looking at other people's story na parang as if theirs is less. We should stop thinking that way. Na when we appreciate ourselves in our story, we should also begin to tell ourselves that everyone is given an amazing story, an amazing narrative. And those two things, I think, are very good ways to regulate yourself when it comes to like feeling a little bit inferior or insecure about being delayed or falling behind. And then lastly also, ito yung parang isang na-unlock ko sa, in my running journey. But it applies very much to all of life. And I call it the art of slow progress. So what does that mean? You're progressing, you're just not progressing in much faster speeds, right? Like not the speed that probably another fast person has, right? So parang sa amin, when we train, meron kaming mga pace groups. May pace A, B, C, D. Ako, I fall under E. So, ang layo ko sa A, di ba? But does that mean na if nasa E ako, malayo ako sa A, I'm not progressing pa rin? No. Because I actually came from H. So, yung H, G, hindi ko na mabilang pa, balik. Basta ako na, nasaan ako ngayon? E. Basta nasa baba si H, di ba? So ngayon, ayoko na mag-math using numbers. Hindi to maganda. So kung galing ako sa H, lumaktaw ako ng E, that is still progress. So I have to stop looking at, I'm not A, I'm just E. Instead, I should think that I came from H. I'm now in the pace group E. I'm probably not progressing as fast as everybody else. And I have reasons for not progressing as fast. Aside from like it's a skill issue or natural talent, the whole of life. I mean, I choose to do other things that, take away from the time of the progress, the time that is needed to progress in the sport. I want to play more board games with my kids. I want to see my friends more. I want to be able to have late nights and not always be the corny person who sleeps at 8 o'clock and not see anyone else in her life. I'm not saying that it's wrong if you're the other way around. I'm just saying that I have choices today that take away from the speed of progress that I have in a certain area of life. And it's not necessarily wrong. You're just making choices. You just have other values in your life that you're choosing to prioritize. So, nagsettle na ako sa, anyway, I'm progressing and I don't have to progress as fast as everybody else. I can be as slow as I want to, but still progressing. And that's it. That's kind of like a long-winded talk for, am I falling behind? Is delay a bad thing or not? Is not having a normal timeline for our life wrong? Ay, sana may napulot kayo. Pero kung wala, at least naaliw kayo. But before we go, I want to leave you guys with a question that you can ask yourselves. And maybe, if you have other people around you, like you wanna share this episode with your friends, like listen to it on like a long road trip or something, then pwede kayong mag-reflect after. You can do a discussion that can further enrich you with the chosen topic of the day. So here's one question that I can leave you with. Which part of your life have you been calling a delay? And then, do you think it's really a delay? Or is it really simply an unfolding in its own pace? An unfolding of something in its own pace. Okay? I am so excited to hear from you guys. I want to know what your thoughts are. That's how I am usually with my husband. Na I don't like to just hear myself. I want to hear other people also because I feel like we're richer that way. So, yeah. That's it. Thank you so much for being with me on this very first episode of Life Loading, where life, loads what it's supposed to load and unloads what it's not supposed to carry. So, sama-sama tayo dyan. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Showcase Carpet. You may find Showcase Carpet in leading malls nationwide. Sila po ang nagbigay. They're our partners for this rug. It's so me. Nung nakita ko to, sabi ko, ay, gusto ko po yan. It's so me. So there's like pattern. And if you look at if you guys can see our set right now, this is really a reflection of not just me, but life itself. It's like so much color. There's so much to it. It's so full and so rich. I wish that as we go on with this podcast, that's how we'll feel about life as well. And also thanks to Miss Pong New and Tanny. Tanny for my hair, Miss Pong New for my face. So, for a few episodes, ang ganda-ganda ng lola nyo dahil kay Miss Pong New. Pag hindi na masyado maganda, wala si Miss Pong New. But thank you guys. Until next episode. Bye.